Hi Abdo, my name is Quintlin. I'm going to be looking at your essays today. Uh, First of all, fantastic job on getting this far in the course. I know there was a lot of pre-work to get to before you started writing your essays, but really great to see that you've worked through the course and got to the point of writing your first set of essays. Well done. You'd be surprised at the number of students who sign up to the course and don't get this far. So great job at getting this far. Let's go ahead and look today at your two essays. Let's start with your task 2 here on doing an enjoyable activity with a child. Abdo, really great to see that you've taken the time to do some planning on what you're going to put in your P1 and your P2s, and you've thought about your ideas and your examples. Really important, that planning process, particularly as we get to some harder essays. So I was really pleased to see that. Keep doing that, it's very important. So let's go ahead and look at your essay here. I thought you did a good job of the task response. You came up with some really good ideas. I thought your example for the P1 was really good. Maybe we could have had a little stronger example for the P2. We can look at that when we get to it. But overall, a good essay. Let's read through it. I'm going to give you some specific feedback on the grammar, the sentence structure, and just our suggestions for the way to structure the sentences based on the sentence guide course. Children skills. So here we need possessive, and to do that we need apostrophe S after the children. So that would read children's skills. Can be developed in different ways. Practicing lovable activities with the child. I would, maybe combining these two here. These two sentences here, just to make it a little more complex. So you could say something, children's skills can be developed in different ways, comma, such as practicing lovable activities with a child, comma, which can develop their skills more than reading. Outweigh than reading doesn't work in terms of the structure of a normal English sentence, so I would just say more than reading. And then it would have been good to see your second sentence to be what your point of view is. Maybe the wording here should be, whilst I believe that reading can be useful, we don't need the comparative word here, so we could just say, whilst I believe that reading can be useful, physical actions have more interest. This essay will explain the benefits of doing different activities that just reading cannot do. Yeah, I think the ordering of there, of where you've put that, is a little, makes this sentence not as coherent as it could be. I would like to have seen this sentence to read, this essay will explain the benefits of doing different activities by using examples from the Japanese government and Harvard University to demonstrate points, something like that. Okay. Firstly, I'm not a real big fan of firstly and secondly as transitional phrases. There's other more high-level transitional phrases that you could use. Maybe here with firstly you could say, to begin with, playing on games consoles will develop active skills and spatial awareness. Good. This is mostly because it trains both the subconscious mind and the whole body's nervous, just a different form of the word here, Nervous, nervous system. Video games such as sports, racing, and puzzles can be the best genre for their minds. Good. Good word there. For example, in the last decade, the Japanese government adopted the Sony PlayStation gaming console as an official education device. Therefore, using enjoyable devices, yeah, maybe instead of devices here, because we used it there, just trying to keep your vocabulary quite different where we can. We could just say, therefore, using enjoyable toys will develop the youngest skills. Will develop skills in the youngest children better, I think would be more accurate to the task response and more coherent. So here you put secondly, so maybe a different word you could use here is furthermore or additionally. So maybe additionally, sports competition is a very common active in all the world schools. Maybe more accurate here would be sports competition is a very common activity in schools around the world. The structure there is more accurate than what you've written. And then maybe the phrasing, this is because it raises the kids' cognitive abilities and physical abilities. So to reduce using abilities twice, I would take it out here and just say this is because it raises the kids' cognitive and physical abilities. Just reads a little more concisely. Sports such as swimming, running, and aiming are mostly suitable for young kids. This is largely because sport always moves the muscles and creates, plural, new thinking strategies. For example, a study was made by, did you mean Harvard or did you mean Harvard? Harvard. Just checking there. Harvard may actually be a university, but just didn't know. University, because it's part of the proper noun, is capitalized with a U there. So, for example, a study made by Harvard University reported that 63% of strategies positions was taken by ex-athletes. I'm not sure what you meant by this statistic or how it related to the task response. A more accurate sort of example here would have been, for example, a study made by Harvard University reported that 63% of young students who participated in sports activities performed better than their counterparts who only practice reading in psychometric tests or psychomotor test. Something like that that's more relevant to the task response and more relevant to the idea that you gave. Hence, sports competition is a very strong method to dramatically increase a child's, and again that's possessive apostrophe s, physical and mind skills. To conclude, comma, from the previous examples, I firmly believe that enjoyable activities are a strong method to develop our, again, possessive apostrophe s, children apostrophe s skills. It is predicted that by 2030, all the education books will be replaced by emotionable and VR devices. Good. Great first essay, Abdo. A few grammatical things, maybe some work on getting just a stronger example to go with your idea there in your P2. But for your first essay, I think a very, very good job. Well done with that. Let's look at your second task too. Great, Abdo. I just paused to read through your second task to communication between family members. I thought you did a great job of answering the task response here. You came up with two really good ideas and good examples to back up those ideas. I was really happy to see that you've used two very different ideas, talking about technology and then working longer hours. That is fantastic to see. And that will get you more points in the IELTS exam if you can use two very different examples. So do keep that up when you practice and then also on the actual exam itself. Yeah, there were some grammatical things here we need to work on, and I also think we could be a little more coherent and cohesive in your writing on this particular essay. So let's have a read through it and see where we can maybe improve on some of those areas. In the last decade, life rhythm has In the last day, our life rhythm has become, BECOME, has become incredibly fast. Thus, we have lost some essential morals. Good. I believe that communication is becoming weaker between family members, especially the youngest. I think that's all you have to say. I would take out this sentence and then add in that third sentence, which we would recommend in the sentence guide course, which is this essay will look at this issue using examples from an NCA report and the British Social Institution to demonstrate points and prove arguments. So instead of going in more in depth about your what you're going to talk about, just keep to the 3 sentences, just an overall sentence, your point of view, and that summarizing sentence. So here may be a different transitional phrase, as I said before, that can get you higher points on your lexical resource score. Could be something like, on the one hand, a virtual social life has been presented all over the smart devices. Yeah, that's some strange wording in there. I know what you're trying to say. Maybe you could just say, on the one hand, a virtual social life through smart devices. That phrasing there was a little strong. That has been presented all over the smart devices. Strange combination of words. It doesn't conjure up the right meaning. This combination, I think, of what you want. So try a virtual social life through smart devices is the main reason for weakening the generation's communication. This is, instead of it is, this is simply because, know that link there, this is simply because it is much easier to use and it connects add your article there, a vast majority of the people around the world. A means singular, so your following noun would be singular, so here no S, so a statistic. And then I wouldn't use was, the past tense. A statistic made by NCA reported that 68% of teenagers never talk to their parents about any personal problems. Good. Therefore, as long as we have a more virtual life, comma, we will continue to lose our communication skills with our loved ones. Just something here to reference back to family members to make sure you're answering the task response. That's why I've put the loved ones there. Just a few changes there. Secondly, again here you could use additionally, furthermore, added to that. I would change the word order here. The new world economic system that forces parents to work more than 8 hours a day. Let's look at this phrasing here. So 8, any numbers under 10 you need to write out as words. So here, EIGHT. Hours, what's your spelling? HORS. The New World economic system that forces parents to work more than 8 hours a day leads to losing lots of communication chances. Again here, instead of it is, this is mainly because working parents, I don't want to use the word losing again because we've used that there. I would like to maybe talk about this phrase, drain their energy. So maybe this is mainly because working parents drain their energy during working hours, which leads to the seeking of rest, homestaying, strange combination of words here, during rest when they are at home. For example, the British Social Institute. So that's all the proper nouns, so both the S and the I are also capitalized. The British Social Institute showed that working more than 7 hours a day, again write out as SEVEN, you've used train there, will, maybe you could use will reduce your brain energy by 78% more than doing any other activities. Consequently, you keep using the words after I've used them. Consequently, a reduction, just a different form of the word, in daily working hours can rebuild a family union. I think here, though, Abdo, stronger would be just to reinforce your task response and not look at how you can fix it, but just reinforcing what the task response is saying, which is consequently longer working hours are reducing the communication within families. Because that's what we're really trying to focus on here in your paragraph, is answering that task response, not how we can fix it. So I would change that last sentence up. To conclude from the examples given, I totally believe the rationalization that using using modern social applications and spending extra time with the family will strengthen the communication links. Unfortunately, it's predicted that we will have more generation gaps within the next 6 years by 32%. Yeah, I'm not sure about adding another statistic here. I would just say, unfortunately, what's your spelling there actually? Unfortunately, it's predicted that we will have more generation gaps in the future. Just full stop there. And again here, maybe in your conclusion, just reiterate what you've talked about, not how you can fix it. I would just say, to conclude from examples given, I totally believe that the increased use of technological devices and longer working hours is reducing family communication. Yeah, what you need to do is reinforce what you've said in your conclusion, not talk about how you're going to fix it. Okay? Good. Really good essays here. For your first essays, what I would like you to do is, I've kind of listed some of the things you've got wrong. I want you to create what we call an error list. This is a list of your mistakes or the things you need to improve on. So create a list of that. Then I want you to correct these 2 essays with the suggestions given, and then watch the next set of podcasts, and then write the next 2 set of essays. And then Abdo, get back to me in one email your error list, your corrected essays, and your 2 new essays. Okay? Keep up the good work, and I look forward to seeing your next essay soon. Bye for now.